Georgie from It is having a really rough time. In The Prodigy, we follow a family and they have this son named Miles who's showing rapid brain increase. He's becoming extremely gifted and intelligent, and that intelligence is turning sinister as they start to notice weird things are happening with Miles, and they don't know that maybe something sinister or unholy might be attached to the poor kid. Now look, I was looking forward to The Prodigy. I'm a fan of the killer kid subgenre. I like a good demented child every now and then. So I was looking forward to this film, and it comes from the director of The Pact, which I was a big fan of. So to be honest, I was looking forward to this film, and I have to say, The Prodigy is a solid horror film. There are some things about this that are actually done with real craftsmanship that I really enjoyed. And I think a lot of that has to do with the performances in this film. I think the performances are great all around, particularly this young kid, whose name I think is Jackson Robert Scott or something like that. He's Georgie from It, and he's really good. You love him. He's super likable and charming and sweet, but when he turns dark, it makes it all the more shocking and believable because he's doing a really good job. I do think the father is by far the weakest element, not the actor who plays him, but what he's given. I think he becomes the typical father who just doesn't believe anything that's happening, and I'm like, dude, there's something wrong with the kid. And I do think that leads into some of my issues with the film, is I think this film does fall victims to a few horror tropes and cliches. And one in particular being it has to spell everything out. I think even though this is a very short film, I think this film could have lost like 5 or 10 minutes, and I think it would have been a lot better. I think a lot of the exposition-y scenes were unnecessary, and they kind of deflated the tension because they were things that we were already possibly internalizing in our heads, and the film was just pausing to spell it out. But there are some really well done suspense and tensions in this film. Yes, there are some jump scares, and whilst one or two of them might be a little cheap, there are a few scares in this thing that will have you gasping and will have you shocked. I mean, it's in the teaser trailer, but that hypnosis scene, ew, my goodness, it had my blood run cold. It was a great scene. I liked the dark nature of it. I think it's a very well shot film, and I liked the direction that this film goes in the final act. There is a twist, and I think that twist and that direction that this film goes in is going to divide audiences. You might be like, okay, if this has a good ending, then it's going to win me over. And I think some people are not going to like this ending. But I liked that ending. I liked how unapologetically dark it gets. I like the direction that it goes in. It wasn't the direction I thought it was going to go in. I thought we were going to have this type of movie. We were certainly setting up for it, but then it goes this way. And personally, I like that. I think it opens up a little bit of conversation. Overall, The Prodigy is a solid horror film. It's nothing that I think personally I'm going to remember by the end of the year when I've watched probably 50 horror films. But as a horror film, it's certainly solid. So if you're wondering whether or not to press play on it, sure, press play on it. I like the unapologetically dark nature of it. I like the direction the film went in the final act. While I do think it will divide certain audience members, I personally liked it, and I thought the performances were all really great. It does get a bit too cliched and typical in terms of horror tropes, and I wish it didn't spell things out, but overall, this is a solid entry in the horror genre. As the score goes, I'm going to give The Prodigy a 3 out of 5. So you guys, there you have it. Did you check out The Prodigy? Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this film if you saw it. And until next time, you guys, I'm the Slash Movier, and you guys have just been slashed.